Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Commodity TV and a new edition of our online interview series. And yeah, we are really happy that we can give you today an update for Discovery Silver. And Tony Makuch, the CEO, is here with us. Tony, good morning to Canada. How are you?
Not bad. Nice to see you. Nice to see everybody. And when you say good morning in Canada, but where I'm in Canada, we're starting to feel that winter's coming. So it's just nice and I guess it's what we should expect. So
yeah, absolutely. We are in the fall season, that's for sure. Same here in Switzerland. Yeah, great to have you here. Long time no see, of course, and long time that we have not spoken. But makes it even more happy for me that you can give us an update. You stepped into Discovery Silver some months ago, took over the CEO role, and Tony and myself know us since the good old days of Kirkland Lake and also Lakeshore Gold, two really great success stories. And I have a very good feeling that you, Tony, will lead Discovery Silver also to a big success. Let's go in medias res. You just reported exceptional results from your pre-feasibility study metallurgical test program. Can you comment in general a bit on that, please?
Yeah, so this is one thing that sets the Cordero project apart. The PEA that was done and published last October or November of 2021, it had given some half decent metallurgy. The metallurgy was well. We've done some further test work, and we've had positive results where you have up to 5% increases in metallurgical recovery on a lot of the metals. The main metals here are silver, zinc, and lead. There is some gold, but we don't get a lot of recovery of the gold. So there's been significant improvements in metallurgical recovery of the metals as well. One of the things that sets this project apart is it's very coarse grind. It's up to 210 microns, so extremely coarse grind, which helps in terms of power consumption, power costs at the operation, and also in terms of your tailings disposal and water management. It has significant benefits of that. And the other thing that's come out of our metallurgical test work is that the reagent consumption is actually gone down a lot. So we see a lot of positives from this. Well, not only are we going to get more metal from what per ton of ore that we process, we're going to spend a little less money on terms of grinding or electric power costs in order to do it. And as well, we're going to spend less money in terms of actual consumables, in terms of recovering and extracting that metal in the flotation circuit.
Mm-hmm. Super. So that should have a very positive impact on overall economics, I could imagine.
It definitely does. And the other thing of what we've been able to do is we've got a very simplified flow sheet in the processing plant. Effectively, single stage crushing to a SAG mill and into a ball mill, simple flow sheet. And we also have from the results of the metallurgical test work, we also see that we can build the circuit. We do a first phase build of the circuit to about 25,000 to 27,000 tons a day, and then we basically mirror image that circuit to grow it to over 50,000 tons per day, and it's a lot more capital efficient that way, because the early period we do the first build to 25,000 tons a day. And then the second build to a higher the 50,000 tons per day, and we can use cash flow from generating from the operation to fund the second phase of the expansion. So very capital efficient project as well, learning on what's going on in metallurgy.
Mm-hmm, super. So how did you come on those 210 microns size? Because as you said, it's very coarse grinding. I'm normally used to much lower values. Have you tested also with lower values, or is the 210 already something like the optimal size?
No, well, probably we're going to finally do for the final design about 200 micron in terms of what the design and the plant will be at. Instead of the 210 might be pushing, we in terms of make sure we get maximum recovery without pushing the limit too far in terms of throughput. But it's really a function of the ore itself. I mean, it's conventional, single stage crushing, two stage grinding, go into flotation. You create a zinc con, a lead con. It should be fairly straightforward in terms of where you send the material to smelters to get the metallurgical, the final metals out of the concentrate. So.
Okay, super. Great. What I saw in your press release, I think it was by end of August, and that was really something new to me, because you guys, of course, you have oxides and sulfides, but you did also tests like where you blended both.
Yeah. Oh,
I've never
yes.
seen that before.
Yeah, that's another improvement that's been placed. So the original concept in the PEA, there's an oxide portion to the mineralization, to the deposit, I should say. And the original concept was to do a heap leach on the first bit. What we've done is with the metallurgical test work out that the oxide can be blended into the plant, and probably somewhere around a 90-10 blend. So we can blend the oxide in. So we don't do the heap leach. By not doing the heap leach, we save the capital costs about setting that up. But we also don't introduce cyanide into the project, and it has a definite benefit in terms of the overall permitting and liabilities you may build up in the life of the project. So, that's some of the other positives that's come out of the metallurgical test work.
Okay, super. So when can we expect then your PFS ready? I think it was planned for the end of the year, but I think it's a little bit pushed back, right?
Yeah, well, we were planning the PFS to be at the end of the year because of some of these improvements we've seen both in metallurgy as well as improvements in terms of the consumables. We've looked at the design of the processing plant, trying to make some improvements there, and then the impact of looking towards increasing productivity up by 25%. The changes to the mine plan, the improvements in the mine plan, that both in terms of pit design, ramp design, as well as the size of equipment, the equipment fleet, and how this all impacts what we're doing. We say, geez, we might need another. We want to make sure we got this right, and so we moved it into say early January or mid January of 2023 to come up with the PFS.
Okay, but that's quite reasonable. That's like for 3-4 months is from here. That's fantastic. Super.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's all to make sure that we can capture all these improvements quite effectively in the PFS.
Super. And then, of course, the following question, quite simple. When do you think you have the feasibility study? Maybe the definitive feasibility study?
So we're planning the feasibility study to be completed for the end of 2023. And nothing from this, the movement of the schedule, the PFS doesn't affect that whatsoever, because we're really fixing up these improvements and adding, and fixing up the scope of the project in the PFS. So the work that would go on from PFS to feasibility is really dotting the I's and crossing the T's a little bit harder, a little bit more detail on capital costs and operating cost estimates, but a little bit more. There is some additional work that's going to be done in 2023, like geotechnical drilling, et cetera, to confirm pit wall designs and a few other things that can be done and has no impact on whether the PFS is done in November of this year or January of next year.
Okay, super. I mean, your resource is so large. You're one of the largest, if even the largest silver development project in the world. You definitely must not drill for a larger resource, because you can easily produce whatever the next 15 years then. Okay, super. So you have the money in the bank to do that all until 2023, right?
But the company's well funded. So the company had about 60 million in the bank. We expect to, we see where as we're moving forward and to design a program that we can complete our pre-feasibility study at the end of 2023 and the company still be properly financed, still with still well over $20 million in the bank but to complete the feasibility. So the company is financed, if you want to say it, to complete the feasibility study, deliver that to the market, deliver that to the shareholders, and then work out the next steps in terms of how to finance to build this project.
Exactly. So that's something then for 2024 for the project finance.
Yes.
Okay, super. Yeah, so that's not that far away. That is great. You also reported your Q2 results. We spoke already about cash. I mean, you are burning cash by now, that's for sure, because you are developing. But how is it going with the phase 2 drilling program? I mean, you had some fantastic drill results again, right?
Yeah, well, see, so these are some of the other positive results that we're coming. So when we talk about going from the PEA to the PFS, and we've also alluded to the fact that we see a 20 to up to a 25% improvement in productivity, so in throughput, both in phase 1 and phase 2 of the mill circuit. We see improvements in metallurgical recovery. which should have a positive and a positive impact in terms of on the project, as well as we see some improvements in terms of consumable consumption. And we talk about grind that could help reduce costs. We also with the drilling, we also see that there's potential to grow the PEA pit, that the PFS pit will actually could be up to 20 to 25% larger than the original PEA pit. So the net impact is we produce 25% more annually, so 25% up to 25% more productivity, and we haven't affected the mine life at all in terms of the project, because we see this potential to grow the resource that much. Now this is the mineable resource, and we believe that the average grade of the mine plan that from the PEA shouldn't change too much going into PFS, but there's still a lot of things to be working. So definitely that's a forward-looking statement. And then, but one of the big benefits that this project has, once it gets built, and as we get it to the higher throughput level, and we get our costs down, the PEA only mined about 400 million ounces of almost well over a 900 million ounce total resource at site. We have the potential to grow the resource, again, as I mentioned, to 20 to 25%. On top of that, and that'll help in terms of extend what's being mined within the PFS pit. Might have potential to be larger, and then you still have the optionality in the future, in 15 or 16 years from now, because there's still going to be close to 500 to 600 million ounces of silver still available. That as you got the cost down, as you've got this operation, that gives you optionality in the future, and depending on what you think silver prices are going to go. So as I've alluded to when getting involved in this project, it's I'd say it's got to be one of the best undeveloped silver projects globally, and definitely once it's built, this mine will be definitely within the top 5 silver mines in the world, both in terms of productivity or silver production, as well as in all-in sustaining cost per ounce of silver produced.
Yeah, definitely. And aren't you in fear that somebody comes after your PFS already and might buy you?
Well, the whole concept here is, our job is to create the maximum value for our shareholders. I think the first thing we do is we demonstrate to the shareholders what the potential is of this project coming into PFS, and then from that, then the shareholders, it'll be up to the shareholders to decide what's the best avenue for them and how they maximize the value for it. So we work at the pleasure of the shareholders, and we're always there to try to do that. We're definitely capable, and feel fairly strongly that this project could be not only financeable but definitely buildable, and we have the team within the company, within Discovery, to build the project. But at the same time, again, we're not all entrenched. We work again at the pleasure of shareholders, and we're here to maximize value. And that's the main goal of the PFS and the feasibility study, is to make sure the shareholders see that what the value is. And in a current share price, this company is trading at under 0.2 times NAV, and we're going to demonstrate that. The market can take a look and say, yeah, that's correct. This is a great project. Right?
Yeah, definitely, absolutely. Your share price is way too low, as some others also. The markets are the markets. Final question, if you want maybe to comment a bit on that, because you are so long in the business, you had a lot of successes in your career. How do you see these days the silver market, especially in the light of, let's say, solar panels, e-mobility, rising demand, shrinking supply worldwide, and also maybe that the LBME storage is below 900 million ounces silver now? I think that's a critical sign, isn't it, in London?
Well, basically, you answered a lot of the question. You can see that, basically, I think you can be bullish about the silver market. There's increasing demand for silver, and as we move forward, especially with solar panels and the development of ESG and trying to reduce our carbon footprint, definitely silver plays a significant role. Yeah, that in terms of production, in terms of sources of silver globally, there's a net. There's the demand may outstrip the production, so you see the potential definitely for higher silver prices in the future, and that's part of what we'll set up. But this is a very large project. I would say almost 1 billion ounces of silver. The PEA mine plan only mined up just over 400 million ounces of that 1 billion ounces. So there's a lot of optionality in the future. we're going to continue to grow that resource. There's significant exploration upside on this project. And so we see this as being a project that'll create a lot of value, both for the shareholders of Discovery Silver, as well as, you know, the people in the community and all the stakeholders that would be involved in building this project and operating and moving this project forward over the next few years in Mexico.
Super. Then let's do that. Tony, thank you very much for the update. I'm also a happy shareholder of your company, and I think we're going to make a lot of money here with that. And especially silver's well above $21 now. That is great. And I have a good feeling that it will go much, much higher. Wish you all the best. Thank you very much. And I have a good feeling that we talk quite soon.
Okay. Thank you very much. And stay safe. Stay well. Stay safe. Bye.
Thank you. Will do. You too, please. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that was Tony Makuch, the CEO of Discovery Silver. And yeah, you heard it. Fantastic company, great project, almost 1 billion ounces silver. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, that's if not the largest development project here in Mexico. And the guys have done a great job so far. Over $60 million still in the bank. The PFS is coming already end of January, maybe by mid-February next year. And by the end of next year, they want to have the definitive feasibility study already. And then we are talking already in 2024 about project finance. This is what we want to see. The share price is way too low. You got to check out Discovery Silver. Thanks for watching us, and bye-bye from Switzerland.